So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I was able to buy a Porsche Cayman S at 23 years old and within a year of getting out of college. And this is gonna cover not just how I was able to make the money, but also kind of letting you know how owning a car like this might not even be as expensive as you think if you buy it in the right way. So if you watch the end of this video, you'll learn how I made the money and also how I bought that car in a way that really doesn't cost you nearly as much as you might think. And by the way, if you're wondering, I am not 23 years old now. This was about 3 years ago, or 2.5. I was 23 at the time, and that was when I got this car. And I wanna make this video now because I think the car is leaving. Probably next video or two, you're gonna see me getting another car. So that's why I wanted to make this, to show that car maybe the last time on the channel. So we'll jump right into it, but first I wanna run some B-roll of the car just so you know the car that I'm talking about. I have made a video a while back, so I'll be sure to link that up if you wanna see more of the details about the car. And also, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. It really helps grow the channel, boost the algorithm, as well as leaving a comment. That probably helps the most, so please feed the algorithm in the comments. Okay, B-roll. All right, so first just a little background context about the time when I bought this car. So this was about a year after graduating from UCLA. I majored in psychobiology. I'm sure you know what that is. And prior to that, the only last job I had ever had was during community college. I was a server, bringing food and drinks out to people on vacation. So that was kind of my previous job thing. And during college, I started reselling. So I would buy iPhones and other items that I knew I could buy at one price and flip on eBay for a higher price. And that was kind of my introduction to e-commerce, selling things online, which is how I have made my money for a handful of years now. And this was what got me into this position at 23. So in my last year or so at UCLA, I was literally in the back of classrooms, just not paying any attention, just working on my business because it had got to a point where the flipping was no longer sustainable. I was running around LA, meeting people for iPhones. It was really sketchy a lot of the time. It was clearly not sustainable. I remember around the time that I decided to stop that, it was because there was this article that came out of somebody had literally gotten shot meeting somebody buying an iPhone at a place within a block of somewhere that I had met somewhere to buy an iPhone. So that was kind of just okay, this is not working. And I wanted to figure out something that could scale beyond just my time of running around meeting people face to face and making $100 here or there. So I started looking at things like Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. So that is Amazon's program that allows you to ship a bunch of inventory into Amazon, and then Amazon will ship it out to your customers when the customer orders it. So it's a much more potentially hands-off business, which was very appealing to me. Not that it doesn't require work, but that it allows for scale, meaning selling one item is not that much different than selling 10 items or 100 items in a day. You're not sitting there with the tape, you're not running to the post office, you're really just it's just about getting your product in front of the right people and marketing it in a way that gets them to buy it. So Amazon was very appealing to me, and that was what I started doing probably, ages 21, 22 or so roughly. And that kind of led me onto that trajectory. So as I graduated, I never applied to a single job, and I have actually I don't think I ever really, maybe once to look at it, took my diploma out of the envelope that they mailed it to me. Other than that, it's been literally sitting in the do not bend envelope ever since then. So never used that, just went hardcore into Amazon FBA with the business model of private label, which means creating your own brands, creating your own label of a product. So rather than just trying to sell something that other people are selling, you're selling similar items that are proven, but you are creating it under your own brand name, your own logo, your own packaging, all of that, so that you're not really competing directly with other people. And I saw that business model as highly appealing because of all those factors. It was scalable. I could sell 100 units a day or 10 units a day or 1 unit a day with the same amount of work. There's upfront work to get it going, but there's no running around. And that was what really drew me in at that time. And then the private label model drew me in because of that control. Without competing directly, like selling literally branded products, you're selling your own brand. So nobody's selling your exact product. You control it. You control the messaging. You control the design. You control the copywriting, the photos. You control the marketing. You control all of this, so you can really own that piece of real estate on Amazon and on the internet and in the world to sell your product. So it was around the end of 2014, I started playing around with this business model and kind of getting my feet wet and learning it. Again, this was at the time I was in the back of those college classrooms, didn't have a lot of money to work with. So I was just learning this, but not really diving in yet. 2015, the beginning of the year, I was, launching 1-2 products or so, did okay that year. But it was 2016, the first year that I was like, yeah, okay, like this is going somewhere. That was the first year that I hit over $1 million in sales. That's revenue, that's top line sales. That's not necessarily profit. That's not even close to profit because that's your top line sold. But that still is a significant milestone. So by then it was very profitable. And at the time I was, Jessica and I were living together in a studio apartment, paying around $1,400 a month. I was driving my Nissan 300ZX from 1988 that I had got when I was 16 for $3,700. And I figured, like things are looking a little different for the first time. And that the first thing I really did was buy this car, the Cayman S, the Porsche Cayman S. And I love that car. I love cars. I've always loved cars. But I think I had kind of like in my mindset, forgot about it for a while. I really liked it at a young age. And then I had this small mindset of like, well, I can't get those things. Or I kind of suppressed that interest for a long time. But at this time I was like, okay, I think I can finally get something that I want. And that was kind of, honestly, it was a big jump from a $3,700 car up to this, but it was the first jump that I really felt strong about because I'm pretty particular in the things that I like when it comes to watches and cars and things like that. So this was the first car that I was like really excited about. And as you saw in the B-roll, this car is spec'd amazingly. It has the turbo wheels, sport chrono, Alcantara, carbon fiber accents everywhere, red leather on black with the manual transmission. So this car was a dream. But the thing about buying cars is that it's probably not as expensive as you think, even if you're talking about really exotic high-end cars. Like, please never be impressed by somebody that's showing you an E-Gear Lamborghini Gallardo. They probably bought it for $80,000 and it's probably depreciated zero since then. So their cost is very little. Not that anything is wrong with those cars. I like those cars, and I've considered the gated manual ones in the past. That's not what I'm getting. It's just that, like, you have to realize is that there's the true cost when it comes to cars or watches, and it's not the payment, it's not the value of the cost of the car when you purchase it. What really matters is what is your true net loss when you eventually sell that car. Hypothetically, leaving out sales taxes and things like that. If you buy a car for 100K, a year later you sell it for 100K, did it cost you 100K? No, it really didn't. Of course, there's running costs, there's gas, there's insurance, there's, you might need tires or oil changes. There's other expenses, sure, but it's not $100,000 is the point. It's probably a lot less than you think. Layering on top of that, finance. Before I even get to that though, here's the thing about that Porsche. People really can't tell the difference between a really cheap Porsche and a expensive one. And that car is not that expensive. When I got it, it was around $30,000. And this was a car that originally stickered for around $80,000, but it was a 2008. So it was already, 8 years old when I got it? And it had already taken that fat depreciation hit. Now in the time that I've had it, it went like this. It was like way up here and it took a fat hit. I bought it there. Now, it's gone down a little, but I'm not gonna lose everything when I go to sell that car. I'm gonna get back most of what I paid on it. But did I really pay it? The other thing is financing. Like, financing or leasing never means that the person doesn't have money. It just means that they're smart about their purchases. So I actually was able to buy that car at a very good interest rate with zero down, over 72 months. So my payment on it has been about $466 per month in the 2.5 years that I had it. Insurance was somewhere, I can pull the numbers on that type of stuff if people want it in a separate video, but it's not crazy if you have no crazy history in your your credit is good as far as the financing, like these things can be really cheap. So, you know, it was a 2.99 interest rate, and insurance was like 120 bucks a month on that car because it had already depreciated a lot. So it's not a high value, it's an older car. It's not that crazy. So for literally 0 down and $466 a month, you have this car that seems really high end, and I didn't get it to just seem really high end. I love it as a driver's car. It's manual transmission, it's mid-engine. I mean, it's an amazing driver's car that I love, and the spec on it was perfect. But yeah, so that's kind of the story. So I started making significant money at that age through Amazon FBA, selling my own products on Amazon. That was the first time that things ever really got rolling for me, that I felt confident in where it was, and made kind of my first semi-big purchase, even though, as you can see from the later part of this video, that it's not necessarily that big. It's not that unattainable to buy a car right, and really it's not necessarily that expensive. So similar case for the new car that's coming. I won't give it away just yet, but you know, let me know in the comments what you think it is. Those of you that really know me might be able to have some educated guesses that have really stalked me on Instagram and things like that. So hope you like this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell. Make sure you hit the bell, because that will let you know. You'll get a notification when I post a new video. You won't miss out on live streams, things like that. And drop a comment, feed the algorithm. It is much appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel, hopefully can reach more people. Also, check out in the description, there's a free entrepreneurship Facebook group. Join that, and follow me on Instagram as well, at Matt Loberstein. Hope you liked the video. See you next time. Later.